Hi. So today is my 51st day of my gluten and sugar-free eating plan. And yesterday I reported I was very happy to have my appointment with my endocrinologist who confirmed that I have officially reversed my prediabetes by a blood test. So it's no longer just, my home testing. My doctor has confirmed it. And I'm really happy about that. And I talked about how I had to go to the Cleveland Clinic yesterday. That's where my endocrinologist is. And how I had to take my daughter for an appointment. And how I just had, because I had to go without eating to be able to do that long drive. And how I got kind of hungry. And so I had a cup of their decaf coffee with the powdered creamer. And when I got up to leave, like my joints hurt, and I went back and looked, and the creamer had corn syrup, solids, sugar in it. And I just didn't expect that. I mean, I'm just amazed at how many products contain sugar. I mean, maybe that's why we have a diabetes epidemic. And keeping that in mind, that's why maybe so many people are dying and having such bad complications. Because even when you're really trying to watch your sugar and really trying to eat like your doctor wants, I mean, it's everywhere. I should have looked. I will take the blame, but I'm not a coffee drinker. So I'm just not used to, you know, thinking that a powdered creamer would have sugar in it. It didn't taste sweet at all. I mean, that just completely slipped past me, but my body knew. And it definitely let me know, no, we're not going back there. So today I had another really difficult day. I mean, that's what life is going to be like. I just have to come to accept that. In this world of sugar addiction, it's everywhere. I mean, it's insidious. It's just amazing to me. I went today, so I'll tell you what happened today. I went to a home and flower show, and I knew that there would be some temptation there, but I wasn't that worried about it because there was a place to eat there. So some family members and I went, and you know, I didn't plan for being with these certain people because they don't eat on like a regular schedule. And I used to not either. I mean, this is my family. This is where I got it from. But I've had to change that because my doctor's telling me. I started to see that skipping breakfast and trying to skip lunch is just, it sets you up for this like ravenous hunger, like my doctor was saying. It's biological, it's instinctive that your brain needs fuel. So if you're skipping meals or you go too long in between meals, your brain is like so hungry for fuel that it will push you so incessantly toward eating. And what it's going to push you to eat is carbs. So he warned me about that. Well, I've changed my ways, but nobody in my family has gotten used to my changed ways, and they definitely haven't changed their ways. So I guess to make a long story short, too late for that. Um, we spent a long time without eating, and I didn't come prepared because I thought we were going to get there and eat and then look. But I was outvoted. Everybody wanted to look around and then eat. So I hadn't eaten anything. And there were all kinds of food there. And I'm glad that I got that good news from the doctor the day before because it was really hard. What they had was a lot of food vendors, and they had pretzels and all kinds of dips, which were mayonnaise based and sour cream. Some of them were kind of sweet, like sweet mustard, but other ones weren't, like a creamy bacon. It wasn't sweet because I asked. And all they had was pretzels. So I asked him, like, did you ever think that someone might be gluten intolerant? It's like in the news everywhere. And they said no, they hadn't thought about it. So my daughter suggested, why don't you just get a pretzel stick and just dip it in and just lick the dip off the pretzel. Not very charming or ladylike or mannerly, but I did because some of the dips look pretty good. I thought it'd be good with vegetables, raw celery. So I tried like a horseradish dip, things that I didn't think would be sweet, and that seemed to work out okay. I wasn't tempted to bite into the pretzel, and I didn't like suck it off so I'd get any gluten molecules. I would just dip it in the dip. I wouldn't recommend doing that because people look at you like you're weird. But I was really hungry and it just looked good. I wanted to just try some of the dips. Like I said, I thought it'd be good with vegetables. I'm like, oh, well, that horseradish might be really good with my celery. So I didn't do too much of that. I think I did it at like 3 or 4 little booths. And then I came to this one that had cheese. I was like so happy because, I could just taste it. They had like 10 different types of cheese. And I have to admit, I tasted all of them. I don't know if that's, I mean, nobody said anything or looked at me funny. In fact, the guy was encouraging me. He's like, "Oh, here's something else you might like." And, "Oh, this is new. We just got this." So then I felt a little bit better because I had like 10 little cheese cubes in me, a little bit of fat and protein. And then we kept, I mean, I didn't take a picture of any of this because, some people are really sensitive about taking pictures of their display because they're afraid, people are going to copy their artwork or something. So I didn't take a picture. I'm just telling because I was just snacking like little samples. So then we came to this booth that they were selling these freshly roasted nuts. And of course, some of them were sweet, like honey roasted and something. And then they had ones that were like supposed to be cinnamon spicy roast nuts. And I didn't think that would have sugar in it. So I tried one and it was sweet and there was nowhere to spit it out. There was like nothing. So I just ate that one and I thought it'd be okay if I just ate one nut with a little bit of sugar in it. Because now, after not eating any sugar or gluten in like 50 days, I could taste it right away. I mean, I'm so sensitive to a sweet taste, like it hits me like a ton of bricks. So then after that, um, so I ended up eating that. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else they had. Oh yeah, and then there was this like tea booth, like I think it's Rose something, and they had herbal tea with no sugar in it and no caffeine. So I had some of that. That was good. And I had a really interesting experience when we finally got to the place to eat because they had fish tacos, and I love fish tacos when they're well made, when they're authentic. And so I said, are they made on corn tortillas or flour tortillas? And the waitress said, flour. Why? Are you allergic to gluten? And I said, yes. I had no idea that they were just going to go so crazy about that. So I decided not to order the fish tacos. I did in the end, but I'll get to that. So they had a nacho cheese um, dish. And I thought, well, how can you go wrong? Tortilla chips, corn, meat, beans, toppings, jalapeno peppers, black olives, sour cream. I mean, you can't, there's really no gluten in there or sugar. I mean, I've never known of a sweet nacho plate. And I don't know, it's like because they didn't know it had gluten in it, they didn't bring the jalapenos out. Why they thought that had gluten is beyond me because it was freshly sliced. They didn't give me the nacho cheese. They like just took Monterey Jack and put like a huge mound of it and melted it. I mean, it was gross. It was like this greasy soup with and then the taco chips were dyed red. I mean, that is so bad for you. I just didn't expect it, and it was expensive. This was like a kind of, expensive, nice restaurant. So I'm like, Taco Bell doesn't even do that. They don't even do, well, they might now, but they didn't used to. So I didn't know what to make of it. The rest of the family were eating, just they ordered whatever they wanted and we're eating and we're happy. And I just, I didn't know what to make of it. I just can't eat that much cheese. I mean, I don't have a gallbladder anymore, so I would have been really sick. So I just, when the waitress came back around, I said, what's going on? Because I read in the description that it had jalapenos and it had nacho cheese, and it's missing quite a few things. And this Monterey Jack cheese is like way too much and it's really bland. And so she said, well, I'm just going to have to call the manager. It's, I wasn't complaining. I was just asking her, like, what was up? So the manager came out and he explained to me, he said, once we hear that a guest is gluten intolerant, we're like really, really careful because some of our things are homemade and some of them are packaged and some of them have gluten. So, if we have a question, we just don't include it. So they thought the nacho cheese had gluten. I don't know where they got gluten with the fresh jalapenos, but they did. And so, and I just said, you know what, it's not what was on the menu, so I don't really like it. And I hate to do this. I almost never send anything back in a restaurant. Like, it has to be something like their mistake. I would never send something back just because I didn't like it. It was because it wasn't what was described. So I said, you know what, I really don't like Monterey Jack cheese. And I expected it to have the jalapenos. And when I ordered it, she didn't explain to me, well, because you said you have a gluten intolerance, we're going to have to change a dish. I mean, if it was explained to me, I wouldn't have ordered that. I would have ordered eggs or something. So he said, I understand. So I just take it off. Is there anything you want? So I said, the fish tacos. And I said, I'll just take the flour tortillas off and just eat the inside. So he said, okay. So the fish tacos were supposed to have coleslaw and a dill tartar sauce and the fish in it. So he brought it out. This place must like be in love with cheese because um I couldn't believe it. They brought it out and it was just breaded fish in flour tortillas with a little bit of lettuce and tomato and then this big mound of like shredded cheese on top. I didn't know. I'm speechless. I still don't get it, what was going on there. So, that's not the proper way to make fish tacos, and I don't think they taste very good. And I was gonna take the breading off the fish and eat it in the coleslaw, and oh, so the manager came back out and I just said, I'm a little confused because the menu said fish tacos are made certain way. And he said, oh, well, we were afraid that the coleslaw had gluten in it. Oh, I just, so what happened was that um, he said, just take it all home and, figure it out there. So they just charged me for one dish. So my daughter loved the coleslaw and the fish. I just gave that to her. And I brought the taco dish home. I fished out some of the meat and beans from under that big mass of cheese. And I do have a picture of that because I was able to bring it home. Like I said, they were just so funny about everything. So I brought that home. It's not gross. It looks gross, and I have to admit, it tasted gross. Look at all those red. They're just a big, nasty mass of cheese. So I'm not going to name the restaurant that I went to. And then when I was home, I also ate a piece of that, um, my peanut butter cake that's gluten-free and sugar-free. And oh, I forgot this when I was still there. I was so disappointed because I was kind of hungry. Everyone got to eat really but me. So they had this candy stand on the way out, and I was so excited because they had some sugar-free sugar-free candy. And although I hate the fact that I had candy for dinner, I had to there. I didn't really eat there. And I was starving because by then I hadn't really eaten anything all day. And I just got, 4 little pieces. I just got one of each variety. And they're little and expensive. I'm telling you, each one of those were like more than $1. Those 4 little pieces were like 4.98 or something. That is amazing. I mean, they weren't that good, but they weren't nasty. It was good to eat something finally that I didn't have to be afraid to eat. And I just, the food made me sick. I mean, I'm not really sure what all was in it, but it just didn't agree with me. I mean, it's just, I'm really just amazed at that. And then I was still hungry. So I had 1 serving of those sugar-free gummy bears. It says sugar-free. I hope it can focus on that. Did it for a second. But I counted out a serving. Exactly. So I wasn't overeating that. And then yeah, I'm so disappointed about today. I had another serving later on for like my third meal of the day. I don't think I did too bad considering the circumstances. Um, could I have done better? Yes. I could have ordered eggs right off the bat, but I'm telling you, that's why this is good for me too, because it's a learning curve. I just sugar and gluten is everywhere. I mean, no wonder people feel so rotten all the time because I think that gluten sensitivity and allergy is pretty common from what I've heard and read. And gluten is just everywhere, and sugar is even worse. I mean, sugar is in everything. It was almost impossible for me to eat at this restaurant without encountering sugar or gluten. I'm pretty sure the coleslaw had sugar in it. I kind of tasted it, but I wasn't sure because it was like a vinegary taste. Um, I did have some chicken wings that the whole table ordered as an appetizer, so I didn't have that many. But the sauces all tasted like they had sugar except one, the ranch sauce. So I had that. It was just so hard to eat today, and I didn't really get to eat that much. Um, we talked about it on the way home because I'm very open about my new way of eating, and they're family members, so I shared with them about reversing my prediabetes, and I said it was really difficult today to be there, and it was really difficult to find something to eat in this restaurant. So I said, next time we go on an outing like this, can we pack a picnic? I mean, I will bring the food. I know what everybody likes. I will do the work to do that. And it's a lot of work, but I'd rather do that than be sick. I wasn't really sick because I really didn't eat that much. But oh, today was a challenge. It really was. It was hard to just be hungry and not eat that much. Um, Definitely, no matter where we're going or what the plan is, I will take some food with me next time if I'm not driving, if I'm not the one in charge, if I'm not the one calling the shots. I will take some food with me and have it available to me because, again, I take medicine that I have to take with food. So if I'm not eating until later in the day, I'm like staying up late at night to finish taking my medicine. That's not any fun. That's what I'm doing tonight. And it's hard to be that hungry for that long. I mean, it took every ounce of my strength to, you know, use some discretion in ordering. Say they had a lot of food that I used to eat that I used to like that had gluten and sugar. So I had a few chicken wings. I think I had like 3. And then I had a couple spoonfuls of the beans of the chili, not that much, and a couple of pieces of fish that I peeled the breading off, and a couple forkfuls of the coleslaw, and then the sugar-free candy, and then my cake when I got home, and the gummy bears. What a day of eating. I mean, that's terrible, but hey, that's the choices I had. I did the best I could, but I mean, I really it's just amazing to me how sugar and gluten are everywhere. And I'm going to have to start packing food more often. I mean, there needs to be like some type of, revolution in this country to take our health back, eat normal food because it's almost impossible. And more people might have to pack lunches. I mean, no, I'm going to start doing that. Um, and I'll share some of the lunches that I'm packed, some of the things that, because, oh, today was difficult. So I think I'll end now because I'm really tired. But yeah, I'm not too proud to, share what I ate today, but at least I didn't give in and I didn't do too bad under the circumstances. So I hope all of you had a better day and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.